Health Rebels, I'm Labron Allen, the founder of the Natural Health Clinic, and let me hit you with a truth bomb. Some of the most dangerous diseases don't come with a warning label at all. You won't feel them creeping in. You're not going to get a text message from your liver and say, hey, I'm 75% destroyed, just thought you should know. What'll happen is you'll just wake up one day with a diagnosis that feels like it just came and hit you on the head out of nowhere. But trust me, it didn't come from nowhere. And today we're going to be talking about the invisible enemies, the chronic diseases that silently grow for years before they show any type of symptoms at all. And most of what your doctor gives you, it's really just delay tactics. Certainly not solutions. So let's dive in right after this. So let's go through a few examples that should make you rethink the "I feel fine" line. First of all, let's discuss high blood pressure. Now, this little monster, it can take up to 10 to 20 years to show symptoms. And by then, well, you could be looking at damaged arteries, heart strain, kidney stress, and possibly even a stroke on the horizon. And the solution that most people get, well, you guessed it, it's a lifetime of high blood pressure medications that, of course, don't fix the cause, but they do lower the numbers. And what about type 2 diabetes? Millions of people have discovered and been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Well, it's the same story. You don't just one day wake up a diabetic. It often takes 15 to 20 years of elevated insulin levels before blood sugar even begins to rise. Meanwhile, you're gaining this belly fat, you're losing energy, you're silently burning out your pancreas, and this insulin resistance is the real fire. It's been smoldering for many years before a full-blown blaze in the diagnosis of diabetes. And liver disease, well, many people don't realize that you can actually destroy up to 75%, that's 75% of your liver, and still feel perfectly fine. I'm fine. Not so much, right? Well, it regenerates, certainly, but only up to a point. And by the time you do feel symptoms, well, now you're in deep. You have fatty liver disease potentially, scarring, inflammation. It all builds very quietly. And what about kidney disease? You ever notice how many dialysis clinics are around now? It seems like they pop up in every street corner. Well, here's the kicker. You know you have two kidneys, right? Well, your body only needs one to function fine. Remember the "I feel fine"? So you could lose 50% of your kidney function or even more and have absolutely no clue. You're not going to have any pain. There's no warning. It's just this slow slide to dialysis. And what about hardening of the arteries, known as atherosclerosis? Well, most people don't feel anything until about 75% of the artery is blocked. Now think about that. That's 3/4 of your pipes being completely clogged before you even get the first idea that anything's wrong, which could very well be your first heart attack. And your doc says, oh, well, your cholesterol's a little high, and gives you a statin. I mean, come on, please. And what about colon cancer? In fact, colorectal cancer is ever increasing, especially in young ones. And it's one of the most aggressive and lethal cancers. And often no symptoms at all until it has completely spread, gone into stage 4. But here's the twist. Almost every one of these diseases starts years and years earlier with subtle metabolic shifts, insulin resistance, low vitamin D levels, inflammation, maybe subclinical inflammation, poor circulation, cellular malnutrition, visceral fat. Yet Instead of fixing those things, we throw meds at the symptom after the symptoms arrive. Now I want to make something clear. Your blood sugar might look normal for years, thanks to sky-high insulin levels. Your blood pressure might be controlled with a drug, of course, while your arteries still stiffen and harden and grow in inflammation. Your fatigue might just be stress, while your liver, of course, is actually quietly crying for help. Most people never connect the dots. They inject more insulin while growing more belly fat. They ignore the low vitamin D levels and don't realize that low vitamin D can increase cancer risk, continue to destroy immune balance, and even make blood pressure worse. That's why testing, real assessment, and looking under the hood matters so much. The I feel fine doesn't work. Because if you're waiting on those symptoms to tell you you're sick, well, you are already way behind in the game, and it may not be possible to come back. Now, let me show you how you can actually reverse course, all right, and stay 10 steps ahead. The first one is, I've talked about many times, many times, and will continue to do so, because it is so important. And that is a lower carbohydrate diet. Cut out the sugar, cut out the grains, the constant snacking. Don't fall for this, oh, I had a bad day, now I need to go eat shit. Don't do that. Have 1 to 2 meals a day maximum. Now what this does is it resets insulin resistance, and it gives your body a rest, especially if you couple that with intermittent fasting. Now, some people are in such a health situation that they're not ready to do any kind of intermittent fasting, whatever the case may be, because they need adrenal support first. They need to have their adrenal function at a certain level before they can actually tolerate fasting. And of course, we help individuals with that. And we can tell when that may be an issue for an individual as well. So if you have not gotten good results when you fast, you feel lightheaded, you know, jittery, you can't handle it, that indicates there's underlying problems, and you shouldn't be fasting until those get handled. And another one, of course, you've heard many times, and that's exercise. But you don't have to be an exercise fanatic to get help and benefit from exercise. So what you should do is try walking after meals, just for 10-15 minutes. Do short bursts of hypoxia training. So what that is think holding your breath or wearing a mask. What this does is it boosts nitric oxide, oxygen delivery, and it lowers inflammation. Excuse me. And of course, another one you've heard many times, but it's extremely important, and that is sleep. Now, it's not necessarily increasing the length of time. That can be helpful. But instead of just tracking hours, you want 20% or more of your sleep to be in the deep zone. That's what you want to work on. And yes, if you're not sleeping enough, let's say you only sleep 5-6 hours a night, then another 30 minutes, 60 minutes a night can be very helpful to change your insulin levels and to boost immune function as well. And of course, the fourth thing that you can do is get outside. You know, go hug a tree. All right? Sunlight isn't just for your tan. Of course, it boosts those vitamin D levels, which supports your entire metabolic system. That in itself boosts nitric oxide and improves insulin sensitivity as well. Walk barefoot. Like I said, go hug a tree. Get grounded. That is also very beneficial for your body. Get some light on your skin. So here's the takeaway. Silence doesn't equal health. I feel fine doesn't cut it. No symptoms doesn't mean no problems. And if you want to avoid a surprise diagnosis, you need to start right now working at the root level causation. To do that, you can click the link that you'll find below to schedule a consult, because you can stop the guesswork. Start testing, build a real strategy that works before things really get scary. And don't forget to like, share, and tag someone you care about. And of course, subscribe. We'd really appreciate it because the truth isn't trending, but we are putting it back on the map. Thanks for watching. I'm Labrin Allen, the founder of the Natural Health Clinic.